San Diego 6 News in the morning.
Well, marriage, usually associated with joyful thoughts and happily ever after. So not to burst your bubble, but we're going to talk about some not so romantic aspects of it, taxes. Myra Fleischer from Fleischer & Associates is here to talk about financial pluses and minuses of being married. And
Yes.
of course, we're not discouraging people from getting married, but there are things that people should be aware of.
People should be aware there are some financial disadvantages from being married. In the tax code is not a user-friendly document. In fact, it's volumes and volumes and volumes.
It never is it?
It never is. Nothing in the law is wonderful. But there are disadvantages. If you are married, your joint deduction that you get, as opposed to the deduction that you would get if you filed separately, actually has a disadvantage. You pay higher taxes because the marriage deduction is less than if you filed separately.
So these are we're pointing out the financial disadvantages of being married and also medical expenses. Can you explain that one as well?
You know, it's a little bit complicated because I was an accountant before I went to law school, so they keep changing the tax law, but some of the similarities from when I was an accountant stand. When you have a deduction for medical expenses that are over and above what you pay for medical insurance, you are subject to a percentage of your income and that you can deduct on Schedule A of your tax return. So that deduction is less because it's subject to the second person's income. And if the second person's income is a certain amount, you're kind of, you get a lower percentage, suffice it to say, because you're combining the two incomes than you would if you filed separately.
Okay, and then what about Social Security slams?
Social Security slams. What happens with Social Security when the two parties are unmarried, they can get more Social Security typically than they necessarily would if they were married. And also the combined income of Social Security when they are retired would be taxed at a lower rate because they would be at a lower tax rate than when they combine it on a joint return. So they're going to be paying more taxes when those two numbers are combined on a joint return.
Okay, now we want to say there are some advantages of being married that we should point out as well. I mean, several, the obvious, but also auto insurance, health and auto insurance.
Health and auto insurance is a good example. Auto insurance, for example, when people are married, especially people who are under 30, there is a huge advantage in auto insurance. There are a lot of companies that actually profess the advantage where typically there is a 20 to 25% reduction in the amount of auto insurance. Health insurance, you pay a lot less for a family plan than you do for individual plans, and those can be thousands of dollars of savings every year. Other advantages that are out there.
Better loan rates, credit scores.
Big deal.
Because you can take on a credit score of someone.
Credit scores. When you combine credit scores, if you do that correctly where you are married, your good credit score to your spouse's lower credit score can boost you both up. Loan rates are a big deal because you're looking at a lower income where a combined income of two parties boosts your credit worthiness and you may be able to get a better interest rate. And when you're looking at a better interest rate, for instance, on a mortgage, that's thousands and thousands of dollars over the life of that mortgage that you could be saving, which will more than offset the increase in taxes that you may pay over the next however many years that you're married.
Okay, now just to point out really quickly before we go, it is still, if you've married the right person, it doesn't matter. I mean, you're going to be happy. And you were saying that you found a little statistic
you know what?
too.
I don't want to discourage people from getting married, especially 5 weeks before Valentine's Day when everybody starts
asking. Is that all?
That's all. That's all. Everybody asks everybody to get married on Valentine's Day. But the studies show, and there's lots of studies out there, married versus unmarried, that people live longer, they live in better neighborhoods, and they live a higher lifestyle when they are married versus unmarried. So I don't want to discourage it.
All right. Hey, thanks for coming in.
Thank you so much.
So
Linda.
early. Appreciate it.